Imagine this. It's 8:40 on a Tuesday night. You're on the couch, shoes off, half watching something, and someone knocks. Not the doorbell. A knock. 3 quick raps, then nothing. You look through the peephole. A man is standing there, maybe 30, holding a phone, looking apologetic. He says he's looking for a house number that isn't yours. He says his GPS sent him to the wrong street. He smiles. He apologizes twice. Everything about him says harmless. And 9 times out of 10, he is. But there's a version of this exact moment that ends with 2 men inside your living room. Same script. Same smile, same wrong address. The difference is small. It's visible, and most people miss it completely, because they're too busy being polite to look. Here's what almost nobody understands about break-ins. The knock isn't rude. The knock is the plan. Police departments have been saying the same thing for decades. Before somebody enters a house, they check whether the house is empty, and the cheapest, fastest, completely legal way to check is to walk up and knock. Surveys of convicted burglars found the same pattern. Most of them knocked or rang the bell first. If you answer, they apologize, they leave, and you never find out how close it got. Most people picture a break-in starting with a broken window. It usually doesn't. A large share of home break-ins involve no force at all. An unlocked door, an open window, or a door that somebody opened voluntarily. That last one is what we're talking about today, because there's a second kind of knock. It isn't checking whether you're home. It's counting on it. It wants the door open, and it wants you standing in it. Today, I'm giving you the 3 signs that separate a lost stranger from a setup. Sign number 2 happens 10 feet from your door, where you are not looking. And sign number 3 gives you about 5 seconds to decide, and there is exactly one right answer. Before the signs, understand what they're actually working against. It isn't your lock. Your deadbolt is fine. It's your manners. We are trained from childhood not to be rude, not to accuse people, not to leave a stranger standing in the cold. A knock starts a script in your head. Someone needs something, be helpful, and buried in that script is one fatal instruction. Open the door. That's the whole play. Nobody has to break anything if you'll do the hard part for them. And there's a reason the wrong address line gets used over and over. It explains everything at once. Why they're here. Why they don't know you. Why they'll be gone in 60 seconds. It's a story with a built-in exit, which is exactly what makes it worth learning to read. Sign number 1. The story doesn't survive one question. A genuinely lost person is carrying details. A name, a house number, a phone, with an address on the screen that they'll turn around and show you without being asked. Delivery drivers have a package and an app. Canvassers have a clipboard and a lanyard. A setup has a story instead of details. So ask one question, just one. Who are you looking for? Listen to the shape of the answer, not the words. A real answer is instant and specific. A first name, a last name, a number. A rehearsed answer stalls. Then it gets vague. Then it gets flexible. The name shifts slightly. The house number moves. Suddenly, it might be the next street over. Then watch what the request turns into. Lost people want information. They want you to point. A setup wants access. Inside of about 15 seconds, the conversation stops being about directions and starts being about your door. Can they come in and use the phone? Can they get a glass of water? Can you step outside for a second? Real help works through a closed door. If your help isn't good enough unless the door opens, help was never the point. Sign number 2. The person you were never supposed to see. The wrong address knock is rarely a one-person job. Police in the US and the UK have documented this pattern for years. One person holds the front, the other works the side of the house nobody is watching. So sign number 2 isn't about words. It's about geometry. A peephole shows you a cone about as wide as one person. Everything outside that cone is a blind spot, and they know it. So look for the second man at the edge of the porch, angled away, hands in his pockets. Look for someone hanging back at the bottom of the steps, waiting. Look for a car at the curb, still running, with a driver in it who never got out. And listen past him. Is somebody talking behind him? Is that your side gate? A footstep on gravel? A lost driver does not bring a friend around the side of your house. If you have a camera doorbell, this is the moment to open the app, not the door. A wide lens sees what a peephole can't. If you don't have one, hit every light on that side of the house and say out loud, through the door, that you can see both of them. Being counted is the one thing this plan can't survive. Sign number 3. The pressure test. This is the one I promised you. The 5-second one. Say this line. Exactly. I can't open the door, but I'm glad to call someone for you. That sentence isn't politeness. It's a test. An innocent person accepts it. They're relieved. They say thanks and walk back to their car. A setup escalates, and escalation has a very specific flavor. The story gets more urgent. Now there's a kid in the car. Now there's an emergency. Now the phone is at 1%. The tone flips from apologetic to insulted, because guilt is a lever, and they are pulling it. They ask you to just crack it open. They move closer instead of back. They step onto the mat, over to the hinge side where the peephole doesn't reach, or his hand goes to your handle while he's still talking. Any one of those, and you're done talking. Not another word of negotiation. Throw the deadbolt if it isn't already thrown. Call 911 and use these words. Someone is trying to get into my house. Not someone is acting strange. Those two sentences get very different response times. Say it loud enough to be heard through the door. Then get away from the entry. Don't stand behind it. And whatever happens, do not go outside. Do not open the door to prove you're not scared. The door is the entire advantage. People have been badly hurt on both sides of a doorway because somebody decided to settle it face to face. You are not trying to win this. You're trying to be a house that costs too much. Look, almost everyone knocking on your door is exactly who they say they are. Lost, late, dropping off a package. You shouldn't spend your life afraid of your own porch, but these 3 signs are free, and they take about 20 seconds to run. A story that falls apart after one question. A second person standing where you can't see him. And pressure that gets worse the moment you say no. You don't have to be brave. You don't have to be armed. You don't owe a stranger on your steps anything at all. You just have to keep 2 inches of wood between you and let the door do its job. If this was useful, hit the like button. It pushes this to more people who need it. And if you want the 4 things a burglar checks from the curb before he picks your house, that one's right here.